Hi, my name's Kelly. I channel spirit guides, and right now I'm gonna channel Nana Anna about intention setting when you're kind of identified as an ADHD mind. How do you set your intentions? Because I channel when I'm upset, and they tell me that I need to channel when I'm calm. I need to channel before I get upset. But when I'm calm, I feel like my intentions are so many, I don't know how to narrow it down. So, Nana Anna, can you speak to me about intention setting and focus? And you need to figure that out before you can have integrity in your life, because you have to have a plan with all your foundations that are established with behaviors before you can grow. It's like the tree. You have to start with the tree trunk before you can expand up into something creative and expressive. You've got to start solid with a foundation. And I feel like my ADHD brain, caused by whatever it is caused by, makes it really hard for me to remember how to focus on the integrity. Okay. And Nana Anna came to me today really strong in a meditation where she said she's really working with me as an apprentice closely, basically, like mother-daughter energy. And she's more than just the grandmother of Jesus, okay? She was on the planet before that, so she had a God status identity before she was Nana Anna. And that's kind of why my videos are miracles, that I can channel her, because I can talk to God, so I am like an oracle. And all these dragons are coming out in Mary Magdalene's story, and apparently the dragons are, the serpent represents not only does it represent the initiation into duality, but it represents the healing from duality. So in the beginning, the dragon and the draconian and the reptilian energy on the planet was the enemy. But we're learning how to forgive our enemy because it was all part of the exploration of free will. So once you get to the point of owning your own karma and your own messes in life and admitting when you're wrong, then you see the duality and you can step outside of it and forgive both sides of it, because it was a necessary tussle to explore free will. Okay, so forgive the abusers. Okay, that's the whole lesson Trump is offering. He's the ultimate scapegoat that we all want to hate. It's hard. Kelly knows what the role he's playing, and she still hesitates to stand up for him because everyone else has such a good point. Like, yeah, look at the news. Of course, he's a jerk. But do we have a right to judge anyone? Do we have a right to judge Hitler? Do we have a right to judge these people? Because if they really are psychotic, they grew up groomed and traumatized and mind controlled into that extreme egoic version of psychosis. Okay, so the healing does not come from further judgment. When you hang someone, you don't send them to the light. When you hang someone, you send them to their next life so they can be born to start all over with fixing their karma. But if you get someone to identify with how they're contributing to the mess in the world, that's a miracle. When Jesus is talking about A Course in Miracles, the miracle is when you turn your consciousness around on yourself and look at your own shadows. It's the hardest thing to do in the world, because the world is the definition of the ego. Your entire reality that is physical is how your ego is defining reality for you. You're experiencing what you're defining, and your ego's in charge. Okay? So we're telling you that that's what's going on. We're telling you that you are writing and experiencing your own monologue in virtual reality, in real life. Okay? You're writing it, you're experiencing it. The part of you that's writing it is half asleep. So we're here, whispers in your mind, creating the dream, but we can speak louder and we can start to wake you up from that dream, and we can start to be a lucid voice in your mind while you're dreaming, explaining things, kind of like a narration in the back of a movie or whatever. Mystery Science Theater. Okay, we're like a voice in your head, and you can make us louder when you set your intention towards love, whatever that frequency is. You go in that direction. It's a degree, it's a spectrum. Go in the direction towards integrity, towards truth, towards love, towards accountability, towards harmony, towards cooperation. Okay, go in that direction, and you call us in louder. You'll hear us louder. We'll start explaining things to you about how to feel a higher frequency reality right now, in real time, right in front of your eyes. That's what's happening with these light codes. You're turning karma around in real time. That's the power of this lifetime. You're finishing it up, and you can just go pshoo, 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 because you understand the game, and that's maturity. When you grow up as a child, you figure out how to walk. You can walk faster. Humans, you're figuring out these spiritual tools and how to use them, and at first it's clumsy and you make mistakes, but you're like, logically, that's what I keep coming to. That's the answer, even though it didn't go well, it didn't 100% work, but that's part of it. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2, there's gonna be failure along the way, but there's gonna be growth, there's gonna be expansion, okay? And that's learning. As you expand, you learn. And as you learn, you understand more about who you are. You anchor in your truth. As you make mistakes, you have the opportunity to change your mind. Okay, that's the step back. That's the tangents. That's the hiccups. That's the accidents. Those are the redirections of your Holy Spirit to get back on track. Okay, and there is a flow. Eventually, when you learn how to listen and prioritize love as your inner guidance, you just flow. You surf on top of the water when you get to that point. But if you get distracted by the ego and judgment and fear and shame, but we ultimately are not judging you. Okay, you're playing around in duality, and you still have some decisions to make to return to integrity, to wholeness, to at one-ment. So ADHD mind, integrity setting, intentions. It's okay that you feel flighty. It's okay, because there's kind of the way the butterfly operates after it was a caterpillar. As a caterpillar, it was on the ground, you know, all legs. But as a butterfly, there's a fluffing up. There's a fluffing up that happens. It's kind of like how a sail catches the wind. That's how it happens. The butterfly lifts its, for the rest of its life, it doesn't fly like an eagle. It just sort of like gets inspired. It's inspired. It's inspired. And so when you realize how to be a sovereign human, that's what it's going to start feeling like in the beginning. You're going to feel an inspiration. And then you're going to feel like a letting down, and an inspiration, and like a letting down. And you know, think about how the fluttering happens in a butterfly. And as a human, when you're starting to recognize that mode of operation, as opposed to like linear gas it right to the top, you're more like, no, I want to be more like a butterfly. I want to be inspired and inspired and inspired. There's a somatic learning that must happen, because in order to feel it in your body, the lift, you've got to feel safe in your body. Okay, if there's anything in your body that's holding trauma and it's subconscious, it's gonna weigh you down. So you still have some of that, Kelly, but you're learning how to accept yourself more and more, okay with where you are, feeling uncomfortable and loving it instead of running from it. That's the work. That's the Magdalene lesson. That's A Course in Miracles. What it will teach you is being present with the parts of you that feel ashamed of something, and loving yourself anyway. It takes effort, it takes practice, it takes commitment, it takes reminding to love yourself despite the things you feel guilty about, you feel ashamed about, you're embarrassed about, you're judgmental about, and you're stuck, okay? Meditate, call on space, call on light, call on love, hug someone, be charitable to bring in love and blessings. You can be charitable. God bless you for having the thought to set an intention. That's consciousness. You're conscious, you are love. Consciousness is you being present with your love, because your thought originates from love. You can't help it. You can't not be that. It's who you are. If you don't identify with love, it's because there are veils covering you. So when you're setting an intention, you're reaching towards that truth about yourself, that you are love, because you're being conscious with your plans. You're being conscious with where you focus your attention. When you're being conscious with where you focus your attention, i.e. setting intention, that's worshiping God. That's stepping towards God. That's listening to your Holy Spirit. When you bless your dinner, when you wake up and you think about prayer, when you listen to the bells and it reminds you to pray, when you hug someone, when you hold hands with someone, when you help someone, when you clean up something, when you pick up trash and litter, and you do that chore for your kid. You get the kid that cereal when they can totally make it themselves, you know? It's integrity. It's inviting integrity when you do the right thing and you listen to the right voice. As you do anything, you'll do everything. So it doesn't matter where your ADHD mind takes you. The ADHD part, it's like you're going in a million different directions. That's how much you want to expand. It's exciting, right? Isn't it fun? Every single ADHD person's like, I wouldn't give it up for anything, because it makes me happy for my brain to go all over the place. I wouldn't do it if it didn't make me happy. So why do we even judge there's something wrong with that? It's just creative. It's creative expression that doesn't have an outlet. Okay? And we're telling you, just take a breath and you'll slow down all the wrong choices to get out of your way. If you take a breath, and you'll narrow down all the options until you get to the right option. The breathing will help you will help bring your clarity. Okay? Impeccability will mean conscious breathing 24 hours a day. Okay? And if you're not conscious, you need to put prayers before the patterns of your day, the routines of your day that are not conscious. Are you waking up the same way you woke up when you were 13 and no one was paying attention? You still waking up like that in the morning? You haven't put any more adult structure around your morning routine? Okay? That's what the light's going to make you start paying attention to. You're an adult now. Okay? All right, stop. All right, I'm calling it. Thank you, Nana Anna. I think that's what I can absorb right now and metabolize and breathe with. And thank you very much. Mom, friend, I love you. Thank you. And so it is. Namaste.